Well, good afternoon, everyone. Yes. Well, it's wonderful meeting you, everybody. Oh, hello, everyone. Farrell here. I'm about to say the most important thing that I have ever said in my life. And it's almost like my life was destined to build up to what I'm about to say and reveal to you in this DVD set. LaRouche Pack was so gracious as to allow me to take their material, put it together into a presentation like this so that you can live, you can learn, you can watch this material, and you can reflect on what you already know and what you've known most of your life. You've just never seen it. You know that there's a curtain there with a wizard hiding behind it, and all of society is set up telling you, don't look at the man hiding behind the curtain. You know, I'm sure you're familiar with the Wizard of Oz story. I have something to say, and it's probably more important than anything I've said in my entire life. All the many things, that I've tried to do, tried not to waste time or anything, but this is it. I've done a lot of searching, a lot of research through the years. I've trashed a really good career, deprived my children of a family life, all kinds of things. I've bypassed trying to pursue the American dream, trying to find out what was really going on in life. Why just simply acting in good faith and honest work and everything. Why a person was tripped up so much and everything. But anyway, I think there's some really important things that need to be said. And don't let me bore you, but you need to listen intently here. I've committed my whole life to learning what I'm about to tell you and about to show you in this DVD. And then finally I came across this information, and the folks at LaRouche Pack were very kind to allow me to put it together into a DVD. They had most of the information I needed, but then what they didn't really say, they'll eventually get around to saying. So, these DVDs, what they're going to show you is the development of an ancient oligarchy. They developed into an ancient merchant ruling class, and then they became market hoarders and power hoarders. And basically that's what they've done. Anytime someone has become a nuisance to them dominating a market or dominating a power position, or dominating anything in society that they covet, they will make war with them, they will kill them, they'll persecute them, they'll play with them. That's because in their minds they own the whole world, including you and me. And in order for them to better control you and I, they do whatever they can to prevent you and I from freely exercising creativity, to be responsible only unto the principles of love. And that's upholding justice, mercy, good faith. Anyway, this is an overview of basically the company. It is the operation that is controlling and running the whole world today. It's the operation, the group of people that they set up the stock exchanges, the banks that service those exchanges, and the corporations that kiss up to the exchanges and are controlled by the banks that service those exchanges. And then all of the perk clubs that agents of the company join and get serviced by. And then, well, basically this is the history of where it all started, how they decided to start hoarding power and then hoarding markets and then monopolizing economies, and then through their economic monopoly, creating and destroying entire nations at will, or even genociding them and creating new nations, new peoples, everything. This material, there's too much to cover, but this material gives you just a bit of an overview as to where it started, how it got going, where it went, and then if you're willing to stick it out through the last DVD, where it is in the world today. Basically what I'm trying to say is that there's this oligarchy has established its entire social system. A lot of people address it as an economic system, you know, like an economic empire. In 1773 through 1774, this system, at that time it had rolled itself into a company called the British East India Trading Company, took over British politics, you know, took over majority influence in British politics. And by the early 1780s, had completely taken over all of Britain. And so that's why our American founding fathers called it the British Empire, not because it was British, but that happened to be, you know, the London financial district happened to be where the headquarters of this global economic empire had established itself. Humanity has been plagued by many things, but it's been plagued by a system. It's been plagued by an oligarchy. I know that's a big word, but it's basically a group of psychopathic people that they just hoard. They're hoarders. They don't like sharing. They don't like anybody. They don't like sharing the world. They don't like sharing markets. They don't like sharing power. Actually, they want to be the only ones that are considered human. Matter of fact, beyond that, they consider themselves gods. Nobody else has a right to any say, to any free will, to any kind of creativity or expression, unless it's them controlling it. Actually, they themselves don't have much creativity. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. They wouldn't be so destructive. The important thing is that it's taken at least 5,000 years for them to build the system that they have today. But we are at the peak of civilization. Civilization has had peaks in the past, but this is the first time that it is truly worldwide. It is truly society-wide, penetrating into everything. Matter of fact, it penetrates everyone, literally. And I'm referring to not only vaccinations, but I'm talking about programming. You know, schools are not there to educate. Education is the teaching of principles and concepts, you know, so that a person's creative mind is free to develop processes. Whereas basically training just teaches you how to be a robot and follow these processes. And if something in some stage in the process breaks down, then a person that's merely trained but not educated, they're at a loss. They have no idea how to fix the process. But an educated person, he just invents a new process or modifies the old one. That's the difference between education and training. The London Financial District, that's the headquarters of the company. The Vatican, that's a propaganda center of the company. You know, the Jesuits and all that, they're agents of the company. You get members of the Bar Association running our courtrooms, running Australian courtrooms, running British courtrooms. Around the world, they're agents of the company. They're doing a counterfeit. They're putting commercial law in the courtrooms and depriving you of natural law, the law of love. In the USA, after the Civil War, they came in with the 13th Amendment, which banned slavery except the states. Now the states own everybody. You're all slaves to the state. And they brought in a false way rights. Instead of natural rights, the way our nation's founders wanted the country to be set up as, and that's what the War of 1812 was about. We finally passed an original 13th Amendment saying anyone who is a member of the Bar Association or received some, you know, magi or something thing with some of their perk societies, or like the Masons or Shriners, whatever, they forfeited their American citizenship and cannot serve the American public anymore. That suddenly meant that all the members of the Bar Association would be banned from the courtroom, banned from, from politics, and suddenly American society could operate freely the way it was intended. But no, they went to war with us, and all the little perk societies helped burn the public records and, you know, helped defeat our attempt at being free in 1812. And then the courts went into a thing in the 1840s and 50s. A bunch of people decided that, you know, the only way we're going to lick this is by going in the courtroom pro se and using their own rules to expose their fraud. And they were actually making pretty solid headway. And the courts were anywhere from, let's see, anyway, some people have said it was 6, 8, easily within a dozen years of having everyone in American society being truly free, where the only limiting factors were their creativity, their responsibility, and their integrity in upholding the law of love. That's what, under the Hebrew faith, that's the kingdom of heaven. That's the rules you're supposed to live under. That's because even if we deal with little green men from woo-woo beyond or something, the laws of sociology, like the rest of the laws of physics, will be the same. So anyway, let's get on with the other thing. The thing is, the law, they're trying to say natural law in the absence of reason. It's the law of the jungle. Might makes right. You know, in a society where there's no love, you have ancestry gives you a right, you know, to violate anybody, do whatever you want, or you know, they're saying like bloodline, blue bloods, or wealth. You know, how much money does your daddy have, and how many people can you pay off to get your way, or fraternity. Okay, what kind of a clubs are you a member of? Okay, here you are. Okay, so you're a member of the Jesuits, or Shriners, or Al-Qaeda, or you know, like even the American militias. There's been a lot of legitimate militias set up, which is basically the local good old boys club. But now London, in the, you know, like here in the USA in the 1990s, started setting up militias that they were controlling and they were directing. They were radical, you know, kind of like the way the CIA does. They come in and set up a group, and then they try to make them really radical, where they're a messed up value system. There's no love there. They just go out and destroy innocent people. And anyway, enough said there. Today, since this empire set up all the stock exchanges around the world, the major banks, international banks that service those exchanges, and then the major international companies that have enslaved themselves to the exchanges and the banks. You know, the board of directors, you know, anytime a bank signs on to the exchange or start taking loans from a bank, there's a bank representative that starts follows the social and economic agendas of the banks. Everything, that's how our corporations are controlled, and thus that's how the corporations control our society. For an example, the Food and Drug Administration, I'll pick on it. You can pick on any of them. It's not there to, find good drugs to protect the American public from. No, it's there to protect the market of the pharmaceutical companies. And it's not there to assure good quality for the people, because that's just simply not good marketing. They're compromised by kissing up to the companies that they serve. They don't regulate the companies, they serve the companies. Okay, now the British East India Trading Company, in the late 1800s, I guess they got tired of saying British East India Trading Company. They just went whack. They just called it the company. Some people called it London, or some people called it, all of them, all of these terms are defined as the London Financial District. But basically, the term, the City of London, the company. That was another formal term. It's actually a legal business term. A lot of times today it's just called the company. Yeah, the same company the CIA serves, same company Mossad serves, same company the Chinese Triad serves ever since the Opium Wars, same company the Islamic Brotherhood serves, same company Al-Qaeda serves. For example, Al-Qaeda, they're financed by Saudi Arabia, that follows orders from the London Financial District. I guess Tony Blair, every time he takes a trip over there, they come up with something. Anyway, so there's a whole chain of command going on, but the company runs the whole world, including the USA. That's how our elections don't mean anything. They just fudge the numbers, and then they give us a bunch of malarkey over the television. I can use much stronger words. They're lying to us. That's it. But the thing is, as long as we keep drinking their Kool-Aid, drinking their fluoride water, taking their vaccinations, so we get autistic and all of these neurological and immune diseases and stuff, arthritises, things, whatever. This is not normal. This is not the way the Almighty Creator designed us to live. And I can go into all of that. That's another topic. Basically, the law of love. I'll touch on that. There's principles of positive relationship. We all know this intuitively. It's upholding justice, mercy, good faith. That's the foundation of the ancient Hebrew faith. That's the foundation of the Christian faith. I'm not talking about the bureaucracies that have grown up using the faith as a pretext to build a religion or a big following or a power structure or anything like that. No, I'm talking about the simple truth. I'm talking about reality, like the laws of physics are expressions of truth in nature. Well, the laws of sociology are expressions of truth in social interactions. And this is the principles of positive relationship is a subset of the laws of sociology. Well, if you uphold justice, mercy, good faith, that's the definition of love, true love, not lust or any other stuff. This is the true, what a lot of people call agape love. And then the necessity that these principles be upheld, justice, mercy, good faith. That's what gives our social laws, the true laws of the universe, true laws of social interaction. That's where the authority comes from, is the necessity that justice, mercy, good faith be upheld in our interactions. Because if any of these are violated, then we're in potential conflict or warfare with someone. And that's why, many religions, actually the Hebrew faith is the only faith that's founded upon these principles. Take Islam for example. It's the value system of a warlord. You ask religious questions he doesn't like, he chops your head off. And then you say, oh, if you do good, okay, you're going to go to heaven and have 70-something virgins tending you all for the rest of eternity. Okay, now wait a minute. Okay, now if it's a value system where they're desiring someone to act psychopathic and pursue their lusts, So they'll have 70 virgins tending to them for eternity. That means they're going to stay virgins for eternity. The guy's going to be tortured, man. At least if that's the way that's his nature. So anyway, that's the fallacy of, that's one of the fallacies of these false faiths that they keep putting off on us as, it's our religion, follow this religion, you know, okay. You look at the different world religions, the Hebrew faith, the ancient Hebrew faith is the only one that I've found that upholds these principles, upholding justice, mercy, good faith, as reflected in Micah 6:8. You know, generally when you're upset, you have a tendency of saying what you think is most important. You read the New Testament, the place where Christ was most upset was when he was throwing the money changers out of the temple the second time, and then he turned around and started cursing the Pharisees. Matthew 23:23, he said, justice, mercy, good faith. These are the weightier matters of the law. And then he elaborated on that. That's because those are the principles of positive relationship. Upholding those is the definition of love. And it is these three principles, the necessity that they be upheld, is what gives our natural law its authority. That's because if you violate justice, mercy, good faith, you're in potential conflict or even warfare with whoever you're interacting with. So that's also why it's called the law of love. Natural law. I'm not talking about the law of the jungle. That's the law of beasts when there's no reason present. The trouble is, we have psychopaths in society. They are people with no love. They are pure predators, smart predators. And they make up the majority of the people that have built this empire that I'm about to show you in these DVDs. My people perish for lack of knowledge. So I'm going to empower you. I don't want to scare you, nothing. I want to empower you, because the only way we can keep this from happening for umpteen thousands and more years, matter of fact, humanity is on the verge that if we don't deal with it, this generation, if our children don't deal with it, humanity will exist no more. We'll become a bunch of genetically engineered bio-robots. You know, Borg. That's where these psychopaths are taking us. So anyway, live, learn, and then be well prepared to fight the good fight. It's taken us thousands of years to get to this point in society. I'll tell you, our constitutional government is the best government ever established on earth. It was established under natural law, God's law, the principles. The trouble is, agents of empire have infiltrated our society and subverted it. Matter of fact, our society never was ever totally free. It was a ceasefire arrangement that Washington had with the British East India Trading Company commander. Of course, it was the company tea we threw in the harbor. It was company taxes we were refusing. It was company slaves that were sold here. It's the Tories were, you know, company resources, company tradesmen, company assets. They were freeholders, you know, they were shareholders in the company. America was founded to save humanity from the company. It goes back 400 years, ever since the founding of, before the founding of the Massachusetts Compact. Watch these DVDs and we'll go over that material. And you'll get a much better understanding of what's going on. America has to get her vision back or the whole world is lost. Humanity is lost. We'll have missed our opportunity to take our creativity, reach for the stars and build the heavens, apply natural law across the universe the way it is supposed to be. The almighty creator of the universe, who's the very essence of his creator, his character is truth. The laws of physics are expressions of truth. The laws of sociology are expressions of truth. Of course, mathematics, those are expressions of truth. All of these. Now, our personalities, as long as we have love, we commit ourselves to love, then our spirits also become expressions of truth. Expressions of truth are eternal. Stick with it. Lies require constant energy to sustain them. When the energy goes away, the lie evaporates like vapor. Because the rest of the universe doesn't sustain it, it is not true. Yeah, so the company, that is depriving humanity of reaching for the stars and building the heavens. Like, that's the only ultimate goal of a creative being. And the Almighty, the Great Spirit, creator of the universe, whose essence of its character is truth, built into the laws of physics and the laws of nature and the laws of sociology, built into us the need to go and build the heavens and spread this loving, truthful kingdom, you know, throughout eternity, both space and time. My people perish for lack of knowledge. We've all heard, you know, that parable. But if we don't know the nature of the beast that we're dealing with, we'll never be able to exercise our creativity to achieve true responsible freedom. Reach for the stars and build the heavens the way we were designed to. That's our true destiny. But first we must learn about and then chain this beast that's holding us back before it destroys us. God bless everyone. Enjoy these documentaries. Please be patient. It starts off slow, but I'll tell you, the information contained within, it's intense.